Abraham, the First Historical Biography by David Rosenberg. Reading this fine book, published in 2006, is a kind of journey through mind and of space and time, as Rod Serling might have said. One returns to a kind of aboriginal dream time of the foundation of civilization, catching glimpses of the people of Ur in the year 3300 before Christian era. Then learns more about the life and history of that civilization and its people unto the time of Abraham in 1800 BC. A crucible driving Abraham to a break with his cultural past, bringing him to make that momentous journey out of Sumer to the land of Canaan, is brought to life with Rosenberg's word portraits of the patriarch's world. The author points out that after leaving Ur, Abraham was houseless until his death, not such bad company for today's homeless to be in. The meek, it is said, shall inherit the earth. God is a creative being, one who makes things exist. Sin, on the contrary, is nihilistic activity, making things not exist and abnegating individual integrity for self and for others. Sin is destruction of creation, the production of broken forms. A logic of sustaining being that allows things to exist in the universe or any possible form of universe rather than to not exist is plain enough and good. The meek are more compatible with creative eternal life than are those reinforcing continua of nihilism and eternal death. Abraham, we learn, was obedient to God. Abraham's conformal behavior was compatible to the principle of life and existence over death and non-being. The founding patriarch of three faiths was simultaneously bold yet meek. Abraham was, of course, faithful to the one who is three. There are not too many biographical descriptive references to Abraham in the Bible that one might easily get much data from, describing the life at Ur of the founder of what today is thought of as the Jewish religion. Rosenberg, who provides his own translations from Hebrew, carefully considers biblical material and tries to create a reconstruction of the culture and time of Sumer in the hometown of Abraham, the city of Ur, drawing upon ancient material and sources such as large numbers of cuneiform clay tablets of the Sumerian civilization that were excavated in the 20th century and now. Rosenberg mentions a Sumerian epic story called World Order that probably was known 1,000 years later at the late 11th century BC court of King Solomon. It is apropos that President G.H.W. Bush's term, the New World Order, was coined in the era of the First War with Iraq. Not so much changes after 5,000 years in politics, at least when fossil fuels or balancing budgets are concerned. Scholarly translations and compilations of that ancient data from Sumerian libraries and elsewhere have increasingly shed light on the culture of ancient Sumer until Abraham's day. David Rosenberg is a poet and a biblical scholar. He is also co-author of the J Book, an interesting work as an exposition of the Jehovah writer, J writer, the earliest parts of the book of Genesis. Scriptural criticism supposes that there were four primary scribes, writers, and or redactors of the first 5 books of the Bible that have reached us today, beginning with the J writer, most likely of Solomon's court, and surprising to some, possibly a female writer. The treatment of Sarah's response to news of her planned pregnancy, planned by God, seems to have a more feminine touch than a male writer of the day might have had. Yet, if it was originally a scribbled note by Abraham himself, who can say? His relationship with Sarah and other highlights of the journey could have been saved as an outline diary of meaningful events. Such jottings of one of the best writers of Sumer, making his own exodus out of decay, may have made it down through history in much retelling. To J at King Solomon's court. Note, Abraham is said to have wandered with his father Terah toward the city of Haran, up the rivers toward Damascus or Megiddo on his way to Shalem, Jerusalem, where lived King Melchizedek and his brother and his Jebusites. It makes more sense that an ancient traveler would follow along the water